Good morning, and welcome to a teachable moment. Consider this a bonus video. Usually, I don't like to explain things to adults because I just feel like if you've been following me long enough, you already should just know what tea is. But some people just really don't know because they lack the self-awareness in order to be able to follow along. There's a big reason why I don't let too many people center in my conversations. I don't really like for anyone other than Black people to be in these conversations because they're mostly centered around Blackness. But then you get people who are from other communities and they feel like they are, for whatever reason, that they are entitled to these conversations. And they don't know when they should stay out of these conversations. And then sometimes they feel like because they are a part of a minority group that they are entitled to be in these conversations because I'm saying something that they can relate to. And I get this a lot from the gay community. I get it all the time from the gay community. And I get it a lot too from the brown community too, from Latinos and other brown people. And gay is not Black, queer is not Black, and brown is not Black. And I have said this often. And I can't allow you in these conversations because you don't have a full understanding of that. And then when you try to make comparisons to what's happening with us in comparison to what's happening to you and your community, you create these false equivalencies that tend to center you and your community and then derails the conversation that I am having or attempting to have with Black people. Let me explain to you why it's not the same for lesbians and gay women. What I was talking about this morning when I talked about how Black men, how Black women should not date down when it comes to Black men. I get that you all have your own dynamics, and please understand that I am not anti-gay. I consider myself to be a strong advocate for the gay community. You will never hear me being anti-gay or anti-homophobic. That's just not who I am. But I don't have a problem telling you when you're making a false equivalency regarding the Black community and the gay community. And I do understand that intersectionality does exist. I get that. But what you're not understanding is that because that was a center, that comment, you centered your issues in a conversation that I was having with Black women in particular. I wasn't having it with gay women. I wasn't having it with the queer community. I was having it with the Black community. Because the last time I checked, gay women, lesbians, were not being murdered at a rate of 1 every 4.5 hours. That's what makes that a false equivalency. It's Black men who are murdering Black women at a rate of 1 every 4.5 hours in this nation. You all are not experiencing those types of dynamics within your community. So it's a false equivalency. The narratives are not the same. So when you come into the comment section and you do that, that is a center. And even though you don't mean any harm, it is, in fact, harmful because you derail the discussion and you make the discussion from one thing about something else. It's not the same thing. What's happening to Black women in our community is not what's happening to gay women and lesbians. I'm not saying that lesbian partners haven't killed other lesbians, their lesbian partners. I'm not saying that. But one of the things you'll never see me do is to speak on the gay community in that way because I am not a gay person. I am not a queer person. I identify as straight. So for me to speak on your community and come in your comments, that's just like me. I would be centering. I would be saying, yeah, Black women, we deal with that too. That is a center because you're not talking to Black women unless it's intersectionality is playing out there and they have experienced those things and they just happen to be members of both communities. You hear what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I don't let white women center in my comments and white people center in my comments and brown people center in my comments. And yes, gay people center in my comments because What we go through, while we can relate because there are similar things, it's not the same thing. So it's not the same conversation. It's not the same discussion. And I know you meant no harm, and that's the reason why I'm taking time out to explain that to you. I know you meant no harm, but it was in fact harmful because you derailed my conversation. Okay. And I hope other people got something from that. It's like if I have a conversation with black people and then here come white people. They do that a lot too, by the way. And they feel entitled to the conversation, or they feel like because they've gotten something out of the conversation, even though I'm addressing black people, because they feel like they can relate to something that I said. They feel like that they can come into the conversation and they can make the conversation about something that it's not. I'm talking to black women in that conversation. And clearly, if I'm talking about the dynamics between black women and black men and them killing us at a rate of 1 to every 4 hours, I'm talking about heterosexual relationships. And it is what it is. I sympathize. I empathize with what happens in your community. I do. I am not without empathy and a certain amount of passion for that. But let us have our conversations. Let us have our conversations. We deserve our own space and we deserve our own room to talk about our own situations. Thank you. Once again, if you would like to donate to the platform, I'll leave my Cash App and Venmo in the comments. Have a good one. There's a new video up in the room, by the way, of the Breakfast Club. They came early today, right around 9:30 a.m. And they were happy. They left happy. And we'll see who the pantry serves through the rest of the day. I usually don't post the adults. And we've gotten to dropping off bags for a lot of the adults around here, a lot of seniors that need the help. But anyway, enough of that. Y'all have a good Sunday.